I'm here in Toronto with Æther Realm. How are you guys doing?
Great. Just fantastic.
How's the tour been so far? This is the third stop, I believe.
This is the third show. I'm already running out of merch. My butt hurts because I hit it on a shelf on my birthday because I got too drunk. And
Secret's out, man.
the secret's out. I got a big scrape on my butt. It's been bothering me.
Your birthday has passed.
Oh shit! It's my birthday every day. I'm sorry. I lied.
So, going back to last year, in November, you guys announced that you signed with Napalm Records. Is that the result of 8 years of blood, sweat, and tears?
It's,
Over that, actually.
yeah, I mean
If you want to count the sacrament
Yeah.
days and cover.
and it got stirred up recently, so it's fresh on my mind. Me and Heinrich have been in bands together since I was 15. Heinrich, how old were you when you were doing that? 16? And we were not good. But
Great.
we did that, rode that as long as we could, and eventually broke that up and kind of reformed with me and Heinrich and Tyler and a guy named George. And then that over the years turned into, well, that was Æther Realm when it started, and it's turned into the lineup we have now, which is me and Heinrich and Tyler still. And then Donnie joined. Donnie, when did you join? How long ago?
Well, Jack left.
So remember like that chariot video, like we started to shoot it?
Yeah, that was like right when you joined, right?
Like probably like 5 days before we shot that is when I joined, and I had to like.
You had to learn how to like kind of play it for the video. So yeah, I guess that was 12 years ago. But Æther Realm has been around since 2010, so that's about 9 years now. And I'd say blood, sweat, and tears, and there's a little bit of that, but it's also been, I mean, I can't imagine what I would do with my time if it wasn't coming out and playing shows with my friends. So.
I've seen you hinting on social media about nothing worse than sitting on new material. That was your quote.
Yeah, I did say that.
So,
You got me.
so the question I have for you is, when can fans expect some new material?
Well, I'm not going to say any dates, but I'll say that we do have a deadline from the label that we're working towards, and we kind of put it on hold while we're out here doing this tour, and then when we get back, it's back to the grindstone, and I'll say that the date is soon enough that I'm sweating about it a little bit, but we've gotten a lot done. These boys, Heinrich and Donnie, have tracked.
We're almost done.
Yeah, they've tracked almost all the guitars. I guess I can spill some beans. Mr. Ben Turk from Glory Hammer, the drummer of Glory Hammer, he did all the orchestrations for their album, and he's doing the orchestrations for our album. So I basically kind of give him a skeleton. You know, I think the strings should kind of do this thing, some MIDI notes and all that, and then he takes that and makes it big and John Williams-esque kind of. Or I guess what's the one? Aaron Copeland. Makes it Aaron Copeland-esque.
Yeah, if you know who Aaron Copeland is, they'll give you a hint.
They'll give you a big hint of what it sounds like.
I know you guys have a deadline, but as far as the fans are concerned, can they be looking at something new perhaps early in the new year?
I would like to hope that they would be able to hear something new even earlier than that. But because ever since I've seen everything go down with the whole time scenario, I'm a little bit more cautious about saying we're gonna have it done by this time, because I don't want to do it over. Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah. I don't want to give anybody like a date and then push it back and then push it back. I don't want to do that, but I hope that before the new year.
So you guys going to plan on releasing some singles, perhaps a music video beforehand?
Well, I can tell you that that's on the list. Very shortly after we get back, we got to turn around and go knock that out. It'll be the first music video we've done that's like got a budget, which is kind of exciting for me, because the last one was, I think we had about 250
was
bucks.
pretty budget.
Yeah, it was pretty budget. We had about 250 bucks and a bunch of friends and some pizza. That's about, that was our video budget for the charity. So it's cool to have, a more like pro setup for this one.
this tour that you guys are on now with Glory Hammer, do you feel like so far and going forward with the rest of the shows, do you feel like you're going to walk away with it with a lot more fans than you had walking into it?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
'cause, like,
anytime we play for people that haven't seen us before, I feel like we walk away with new fans.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's not that often that we totally shit the bed on stage and walk out with less fans.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, last night, like, we had this huge technical, like, problem at the beginning of our set.
Oh yeah, an absolute show-stopping problem right at the beginning of the set.
Throughout the set, everybody was, like, really stoked, and, you know, we didn't
We
know,
fixed
like,
it fast.
didn't know most of the, like, pretty much everybody in that room was, I'd say, like, a new fan.
Yeah, we converted them. So yeah, I think it's always hard to tell how, like, what the turnover is on, like, someone seeing your band and liking your band and then actually turning into listening to you online, and even on the flip side, like, sometimes I don't know how easy it is to turn over someone that has listened to your music online and enjoyed it into getting them out to the show and you know, having fun at the show. I'm always just winging it. I'm figuring it out as we go. I don't have any sort of strategy there other than meeting people and learning about them and making friends and trying to play the best damn show we can.
I have to ask you, how is the metal scene in North Carolina?
Oh man, put me on the spot. Well, of course you know about Undresk from Greensboro. There is a band called Ashen Idol that my old bandmate and friend Michael Rumpel is in, and they're doing some melodic death metal out of Raleigh.
If you're familiar with Between the Buried and Me,
Yeah, I guess like if we're talking about the big dogs,
they're out of North Carolina,
Yeah.
and their producer that's done all their records did One Chosen by the Gods.
yeah, he did our first album, Jamie King, and then Taro was Kyle Odell, and Kyle's got all kinds of amazing projects. Let's see, there's like I feel like there's some good black metal. There's like Moyanak and
dude, Moyanak's like dope.
like Antinora is a band from Raleigh we've played with. I feel like North Carolina's metal scene really does lend itself more to the grimier black metal stuff and like some real death metal stuff. A lot more than like the orchestral over the top.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stoner metal stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty
But it's
true.
good. The bands that are doing it are good.
I mean, that's like pretty true about America in general.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
Do you guys feel that the audience in North America is kind of stuck on certain genres versus others? For example, if you look at bands that do more melodic death metal or folk metal, they don't get the same kind of audience, if you will, that a band that does metalcore or deathcore. Do you feel that the audience in North America is kind of geared towards a different style, and that sometimes prevents bands that are super talented not to come through because they don't have the same kind of audience?
I would say yes, but to a limited degree, there's always going to be genres that are big in any given time frame. You know, sometimes it's like more kind of dirty hardcore stuff, like the real hardcore punk kind of stuff. At one point, that was like a resurgence. There's like a new metal resurgence that's been going on lately. That's pretty interesting.
It's even kind of like from state to state though. It's
different
also.
stuff in different states.
You know, you go to different, like if you go to Virginia, like in Virginia Beach, hardcore is like the thing. Like you can't do anything unless you are a hardcore band there. You know, that's like the thing. And then like Raleigh, like you find like stoner metal and prog bands.
Yeah, a lot of prog stuff there. So there's always going to be genres that are bigger in different areas, and that's just the name of the game. I think Europe is historically friendlier towards the more over-the-top kind of orchestral John Williams riffs, Winter Sun stuff, Insufferum, all the folk metal stuff from Finland. I mean, and I don't know why, other than that's just how it's come up. It's naturally come up over there, and then in America, it naturally came up as more of a metalcore. There's like American death metal, right? You've got like Lamb of God and stuff like that. That's like, it's not death metal like deicide was sort of like really less accessible. Like Lamb of God has obviously made a good name for themselves. They're killing it all over.
But those kinds of bands are also too just kind of like more to the point, like heavy, kind of
straightforward
very
riffs.
characteristic of like what people listen to metal for. Whereas folk metal, is based on like European folk music, or which has like more of a foreign sound, I guess, and maybe just people aren't used to it unless they're like.
I think some people think it's like real like
Cheesy.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, I think people also like supporting bands that are from the same spot that they're from. I feel like there's some sort of measure of like supporting the home team, which is a little bit how I sold Napalm on us. Like, hey man, y'all don't really have a band from America doing what we're doing, and I think we should break through in a way that people haven't before. And I stand by that. I think that, I mean, obviously, like a band like the Black Dahlia Murder is from America. They're from Detroit, right? And they just play death metal. They play melodic death metal. They look like a band that doesn't play melodic death metal, which I think has gotten them from some of the true metal fans. It's gotten them a reputation as not being a real metal band, but like, listen to the music. It's metal. It's death metal. And they've gotten huge responses both in America and also in Europe. So I think people like supporting the home team a little bit, supporting like the band from their hood or from their state or their country or whatever. And this has a little bit to do with it. There are less bands doing the big European folk metal kind of sound from America in America. That's it.
Well, last question for you guys. With an album coming out, videos, this tour just getting started, what's the future for this band?
Drink beers and riffs.
Yeah, man. The Tiny Metal Hate Crew is going to take over the world. That's the future.
Thank you very much for your time, guys. Take care.